It's very, very drastic change. And it's like you're coming face to face with your own consciousness when you're on them, because it's just like you and yourself, and the rest of like existence doesn't really like connect with you. Like I said, it's very introspective. Like you do face your own mind a lot. It's really difficult to explain. But that's basically it. I feel more connected with myself, and like I know myself better.
And you also mentioned like how you might want to try this again.
Yeah, definitely. I would want to try it again. This time in a much better environment, and with a different group of people, and just a more comforting place where I can be more calm. One thing I'd like to do different is just be alone more, and be able to just think. Not like alone completely like I was here, where I was like felt abandoned, but alone where I can just sit down and think about things. Because that was the best part, was just being able to think so much, and you like notice things that you wouldn't notice if you were sober.
Will you be interested in reading poetry or listening to music next time you try this?
I listened to a lot of music and I looked at a lot of art. I didn't read much because I felt like I wouldn't be able to concentrate.
Yeah. What impact did you have looking at those arts or listening to music?
Feels like you can understand it better. Like I looked at a lot of art by Klimt, and I didn't listen to much music, but I listened to mostly orchestral pieces, stuff like that. And like with music, you just feel like you hear everything a lot better. Like every beat, every instrument stands out so much more, and it feels like it's affecting you. Like you can feel what the conductor was wanting to express through his music. And with art, that's a lot more difficult to explain. It feels like you can understand the piece better. Like I looked at a lot of expressionist and surrealist pieces, and it did a lot. I felt like I could understand what they were going for. Like you can feel what they were wanting to express. Like there's a connection there.
What if you were taking shrooms right now and watching the first episode of Elfen Lied?
Let's see.
How would you perceive that? Does that induce a good trip?
I'm trying to think of how it ends. How does that episode end? Does it just end with her like on the beach and then finding her? I can't remember, but I know the beginning.
Yeah, let's just say the beginning.
Mostly with like the blood and stuff. I'm not sure if that would like scare me, or I think it might depend on the point of the trip you're in, because like you have your highs and lows and it fades in and out. I guess like if you're at a really, really high point and you're really, really happy, it could be humorous to you that this animated piece is so bloody and gory. But at another point, it could bring your own mortality into question. Good thing, because in that episode, in that scene of Elfen Lied, people are getting torn apart like every second, and it's just they're going like that. And it could really make you think about how quick everything could end for you. Like it'd make you think about your own mortality a lot. But I think it would be different for different people. Everyone would experience it differently, because it's very introspective and it reflects your own mind a lot.
How do you think the shroom experience would change or affect the way you make films, like poetry?
With art?
Yeah.
Like the connection between art. I think there is a difference and there is a connection. Like with a bunch of artists I know, I'm sure a bunch of artists did various different drugs and stuff. One quote that I remember a lot was by Salvador Dali. When someone asked him about his experience with drugs, Dali replied, "I am drugs." And that could be viewed as just his own egomania running wild, because he was a very cocky individual. But if you look deeper, it's kind of like there is a connection between creativity and drug usage. Because with drugs, it does open up a new side of you. You see things that you wouldn't normally see. It's like some people call art like a useless thing. But when you're on drugs, those useless things seem more prominent to you, and you'd be able to reflect that more on your art if you had experienced such an introspective trip as one you would on shrooms or acid or any kind of drug that you choose. I think there is a connection there, and it would be different for different people. I'm sure some artists would never touch a drug, and some wouldn't be able to make the same creations without it.
Mm. Where do you fall into I mean, I know some of the artists that you really, really admire, people like Jim Morrison or people like, Allen Ginsberg, Kerouac, and they've all experimented in some ways with drugs.
Right.
Do you think such experimentation are conducive to creativity for you?
I think so. I think that I don't think I could create while on like drugs because I wouldn't be able to concentrate or anything. But I think having the experience opens up new paths. I think that by doing certain drugs, and I haven't done much in my life, and I don't plan on doing all that much actually, but having those few experiences of introspective tripping could really open up new doors of creativity. You'd be able to create something that other people wouldn't have been able to see had they not experienced the same thing that you had. Because with films, it's all about the experience of the filmmaker or the story being told. And I think that the use of drugs would really help with the expression. Like I said, drugs and creativity can work hand in hand.
You know, art and drugs both induce, at its best, a kind of altered state of consciousness among the people who are taking it, consuming it, checking it out.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think is the ultimate goal of art? I mean, alter people's consciousness for what purpose? What ends?
I don't think you could say there's a goal of art in a whole, because it can be different for different people. Like, one artist could be going for propaganda issues to get a point across, like a political or social message they want to express. Another one could just be doing it as a way of expressing his own like emotions or feelings.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you could say that there's an overall goal of art.
Do you have a goal for yourself, your own artistic vision in filmmaking?
I think it's more of an issue of expression for me. Not really, like for different pieces, I suppose it could be different, but I think it's more or less just a portal for expression rather than anything else.
And this has been something that's always been with you? Or is it something that's more recently kind of surfaced?
The, like art?
Yeah, like you've...
The need to create?
Need to create films, write poetry?
I think it's been coming up over years. Like, you know, when you're in high school or something, you're not as expressionist. It's not something that you desire that much. But now, it seems like over the past, like, 5 or so years, I've been feeling more of a need to create, a need to express. And whether that be through poetry or artwork or filmmaking, just that need to create has been there for a while. It's just something I feel like I need to do.
And how do you see yourself as an artist, like after you finish school, when you establish yourself?
I don't know. It's hard to say. There's so many different paths one could take. Like, I've never really seen myself as like anything like Hollywood, anything like that. I just kind of want to make my own independent films and not have to rely on someone else's vision or idea. I would like to be able to express my own creativity, whether it be as an independent filmmaker or as something larger, but it's not really about making money. That's never really been a point. Maybe that'll come up in years, but as of right now, money's never been like a major goal for me. It's just expression, creativity, and wanting to make something that means something, I suppose.
Chris Ilse, thank you.
Thank you.